This is a reading from the Notebooks, 1943, by Maria Valtorta, August the 2nd. Jesus says, "Be certain, whoever has me has everything. You are no longer hungry, and you are no longer thirsty according to my promise, because you believe in me. I am not talking about the hunger and thirst of the poor body. I am talking about the hunger and thirst of your hearts, your souls, and your spirits. Only the thought that you have me near consoles, sustains, and nourishes you entirely. No, I do not grow weary of being with you." Jesus never wearies of being near his poor sons and daughters, who, without him, are so unhappy. See whether I ever get tired of remaining in the churches to wait for you, enclosed in a little bread to take on a form visible to your material heaviness. The souls my Father has given to me are like the sweetest treasure I have. Can you doubt that I treat what has been given to me by my Father with loving respect? I came down from heaven, where I was blessed in the sublime divinity of my essence, to fulfill this desire of the Father, to save the human race created by him. I, the infinite, circumscribed in the little flesh. I, the powerful one, degraded in the role of an obscure man. I, the master of the universe, poor, in a little town like any other. I, the unblemished, the most pure, accused of all the moral and spiritual sins, as a rebel against human authority, subverter of peoples, violator of the divine law, and blasphemer of God. I suffered all, and accomplished all, to make the Father's desire a reality. No, I do not grow weary of being with you. I await you. When your hour comes, you shall rise with me to eternal life, for this is reserved for whoever believes in me. I have already told you that whoever believes, really believes, is saved. For faith brings with it the other virtues, and causes the virtues in the law to be practiced. Also on August the 2nd, Jesus says, "Tell Father," meaning Father Migliorini, who is asking for a sign to persuade his brothers in religion of certain truths which cannot be denied, that I am giving him the same reply given to the rich man Epilo. If they do not listen to Moses and the prophets, they will not listen even to someone risen from the dead. If they do not heed the voice of their conscience, inspired by me, which cries out its incontrovertible and truthful warnings, if they smother under incredulity even that residue of sensibility which remains in them, how do you want them to be able to hear other things? If they do not bow their heads before the reality affecting them, and do not remember, understand, or accept anything, how do you want them to believe in a sign? They deny me, though they say they don't deny me. They are the learned, and they have smothered the beautiful, holy, simple, pure capacity to believe under the stones and bricks of their science, too imbued with earth to be able to grasp what is not earth. Ah, Maria, how much pain your Jesus feels. I see what I sowed at the price of my dying. But not even if I appeared would they believe me. They would set in motion all the tools of science to weigh, list, and analyze the wonder of my appearance, and rattle off all the reasonings of their culture, disturbing prophets and saints so as to cite, in reverse, and in the way they find most comfortable, the reasons why I, the King and Lord of creation, cannot appear. Now, too, as 20 centuries ago, the simple and sons and daughters would follow me and believe in me, the simple, because they have the same heart, virgins as regards the rationalism and distrust and mental pride, as sons and daughters. No, I would not find those able to believe within my church, that is, in the great army of my ministers. I would find some souls that have been able to preserve the highest virginity, that of the Spirit. O holy virginity of the Spirit, how precious, dear, and beloved you are to my heart, which blesses you and is particularly fond of you. O holy virginity of the Spirit, that preserves the snow whiteness of baptism for the souls possessing you, that preserve the ardor of confirmation for the souls preserving you, that maintain the nourishment of communion for the souls abandoning themselves to you, that are the soul's marriage to her Son, to her Jesus, Master and Friend, that are the priesthood consecrating her to truth, that are the oil cleansing her in the final hour, to prepare for entry into the dwelling I have prepared for you. Holy virginity of the Spirit, that are light to see, sound to understand, how few are able to preserve you. See, soul of mine, there are few things which I condemn as severely as this element of rationalism, which deflowers and desecrates and kills faith. I say faith, with a capital letter, to express true, absolute, regal faith. I condemn it as my hired assassin. It is that very thing which kills me in hearts, and which has prepared and prepares very sad times for the Church and the world. I have cursed other things, but I will curse none as I do this. It has been the seed from which many other poisonous doctrines have come. It has been the treacherous element opening the doors to the enemy. It has in fact opened the doors to Satan, who has never reigned so much as since rationalism has reigned. But it is said, when the Son of Man comes, he will not find faith in hearts. Rationalism does its work. I will do mine. Blessed are those who, as they close the door to sin and the passions, are able to close the doors of the secret temple in the face of science, which negates and live alone with the only one who is all until the end. In truth, I tell you that I will clasp to my heart the unfortunate one who has committed a human crime and repents of it, provided he has always admitted that I can do all. But I will adopt a face of justice for those who, on the basis of doctrinaire human science, deny the supernatural in the manifestations which the Father would like me to give. Someone born deaf cannot hear, can he? Someone whose eardrums are broken accidentally cannot hear, can he? Only I could restore hearing to them with a touch of my hands. But how can I give hearing to a deaf spirit, if this spirit does not let itself be touched by me? In regard to Father's question on the final adversary, let us leave the horror enveloped in the shadow of mystery. It is of no use to you to know certain things. Be good, and that's enough. Give your goodness beforehand, at once, for the purpose of abbreviating the duration of the monstrous reign of the race over the race of Adam. In regard to the time, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 are forms to provide a reference for your limited mentality. The bestial sovereignty of the son of the enemy, the son not of a carnal will, but of the will of a soul that has reached the summit and the depth of identification with Satan, will be so cruel that every minute will be a day, every day will be a year, and every year will be a century for those living at that time. But for God, every century is 1,000th of a second, since eternity is a being in time whose extent is limitless. That horror will be so enormous that the darkness of the darkest night would be midday sun in comparison for the sons and daughters of men immersed therein. His name could be negation, for he will deny God, deny life, deny all. Do you think you are at that point? Oh, poor people, what you are living through is like distant rumblings of a thunder. Then there will be a burst of lightning over your heads. Be good. My mercy is upon you. In the evening of the same day of August the 2nd, Jesus reappears in pain, in the clothing of blood, he who crushed himself to become a life-giving liquid for us. He is very sad. He says only one thing to me. I am suffering so much. But he says it to me precisely by moving his lips. It is not as on other occasions when I see him sad or smiling, but always with his mouth closed, even if his words strike my spirit. Now he actually moves his lips and says, I am suffering so much. And the accent is so sad, so prostrate, that it strikes me like a sword. What is my Jesus suffering from in particular tonight? Who struck him, making him bleed and weep? What can I do for him to make him smile? I understand a serious sin. I don't know by whom or where has been committed this evening, and I understand nothing else. Today I have been able to pray little, absorbed by the duties of hospitality, but charity towards pilgrims is still prayer, isn't it? I thus do not think that he is suffering on my account, and this keeps me serene.